Shane van Gisbergen didn't just win a NASCAR race, he escaped from absolute chaos. And in doing so, he left NASCAR with a huge problem that no one seems ready to answer. Let me explain. The streets of Chicago were calm for once. No rain, no lightning, no drama in the sky. But on the track, that was a different story. Shane van Gisbergen, the New Zealand driver who once thought he'd only run a single NASCAR race, just made history by winning his third Cup Series race, becoming the most successful foreign-born driver in the sport's top level. He dominated the weekend. He won the Xfinity race, he won the Cup race, and he did it from the pole. Only Kyle Busch has done that before, back in 2016. But here's where it gets wild. SVG was leading on the final lap. Then, all of a sudden, boom! Cody Ware slammed into the tire barriers in turn 6. The smoke was thick. The crash was bad. Everyone watching knew it. Cars don't just puff out smoke for no reason. But the caution flag didn't come out. Not right away. NASCAR waited. They waited until Shane had already crossed the line and taken the white flag. Only then did they throw the yellow, ending the race under caution. And just like that, the win was sealed. If they had thrown that yellow just 5 seconds earlier, we would have seen an overtime restart. A 2-lap dash. SVG would have had to fight off Ty Gibbs, Tyler Reddick, maybe even chaos itself. And honestly, there's no guarantee he would have made it out with the win. So, why the delay? That's the million-dollar question, and it's the one NASCAR fans are now shouting about from every rooftop. Because this wasn't just a call, it was the call. The kind that changes a race, a season, and maybe even careers. Ty Gibbs, who finished second, tried to stay cool, but you could hear the frustration in his voice. "I would have been all for that," he said, talking about the chance at a restart. "But I don't know if it should have been thrown. That would have been awesome." Translation? He wanted a shot, and he didn't get one. Tyler Reddick was also in the mix. He ended up third and believed that if the race had gone back to green, he might have had the speed to take it. He pointed out that NASCAR might have just been trying to beat the weather. Fog and storm clouds were creeping in. And let's not forget, the lightning delay almost ruined this event last year. But here's the problem. You can't have a rule book that feels flexible. You can't decide when a crash is serious enough after checking who's leading the race. It has to be automatic, or at least consistent. Instead, we got a race where Shane crossed the line holding his breath, seeing smoke in the air, not knowing if he was about to be forced into one more dangerous restart. This is a bigger issue than just one race. NASCAR has a history with last-lap caution controversies. Sometimes they throw it instantly. Other times, like this one, they wait. It leads to confusion. It leads to anger. It leads to drivers not trusting the system. And then there's the crash itself. Earlier in the race, we saw a brutal pileup on lap 3. 8 cars wrecked, the track was blocked, the red flag came out. And just like that, multiple contenders were out of the race. Brad Keselowski, Daniel Suarez, Todd Gilliland, gone. William Byron, the points leader, was already in the garage with a broken clutch after lap 1. So by the end of the race, only a few true challengers were left. Michael McDowell had led the early laps, but was knocked out with mechanical trouble. Briscoe had been leading late, but SVG blew past him on lap 60 with a gutsy pass in turn 4. And then there was Ty Gibbs, trying to keep up, stuck on the outside for the restart and never able to close the gap. And finally, with the wreck behind him and the checkered flag ahead of him, Shane did what he came to do. He won. But NASCAR didn't win. Not this time. Because now, everyone wants to know, why did they wait? Why didn't they throw the caution the moment the crash happened? And most importantly, if it had been someone else leading, would they have made the same call? That's where the real trouble begins. The smoke had cleared, the race was over, but the storm, it was just getting started. Online forums lit up. Drivers held back. Team owners whispered behind pit walls. Fans weren't just mad, they were furious. Because this wasn't just another finish. This felt rigged, or at least poorly handled. You see, this wasn't the only time NASCAR made a strange call that day. Back on lap 59, a completely unrelated caution came out. Not for a wreck, not for debris, but for an ambulance. Yes, you heard that right. A spectator had a medical emergency, and NASCAR had to stop the race so the ambulance could exit the track. Now, of course, safety is always first. No one's arguing that. But the timing? It came just after SVG passed Chase Briscoe for the lead. The moment couldn't have been more awkward. A medical emergency caution in the middle of a title-shaping battle? People noticed. Then, you add in the tire carcass left on track for 2 laps. NASCAR let it sit there, right in the danger zone. Why? Maybe they were trying to beat the weather. Maybe they were trying not to ruin the finish. But if safety is your #1 priority, how do you let a chunk of rubber sit on the exit of a fast corner? The answer? It doesn't add up. And it gets worse. Joey Logano was heated after the race. He got into a screaming match with Ross Chastain. Why? Because in the tight, twisty world of street racing, there's no room to breathe. Everyone's bumping. Everyone's mad. And after 75 laps of slamming walls, dodging rain, and guessing when NASCAR might step in, emotions boiled over. Logano claimed Austin Cindric caused the contact, but it was Chastain who paid the price. That's the kind of confusion the Chicago street course breeds. It's narrow, it's dangerous, and it's a powder keg for post-race fights. Now here's where NASCAR faces its biggest challenge: trust. Fans don't just want fair races, they want clear races. They want to know the rules are the same for everyone, that you won't win or lose based on who you are or how close the lightning is. Shane Van Gisbergen didn't ask for this controversy. He drove a clean race. He made the moves when it mattered. But the win? It's clouded by a decision that could have gone the other way if race control blinked 5 seconds sooner. So what now? Does NASCAR admit the call was borderline? Do they change how cautions are handled in the final laps? Or do they just wait for the next firestorm to blow over? Because one thing's for sure, this won't be the last time the yellow flag comes under fire. And next time, the stakes might be even higher. So let us know, did NASCAR rob us of a true finish? Or did they do what they had to? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because the debate isn't over, it's only just begun. And while we may never get a clear answer from NASCAR, one thing is certain, the fans saw it, the drivers felt it, and the trust? It took a hit. Shane Van Gisbergen's brilliance is undeniable. He raced with heart, strategy, and fearlessness. But his victory now stands at the center of a storm NASCAR created. A storm of doubt, of inconsistency, and of questions no one in the control tower seems willing to answer. This wasn't just a race, it was a test of faith in the system, and for many, that faith is now cracked. So how does NASCAR move forward? Will they fix the rules, own the decisions, or keep letting chaos write the ending? Whatever comes next, fans will remember this one. Because the finish line may be clear, but the truth? That's still buried somewhere in the smoke of Turn 6.